You will get there. It's inevitable, but you've got to stay consistent. Hey, what's going on, my fellow and future millionaires? Welcome to another episode of the Millionaire University Podcast, the only school where you graduate rich, not broke. In today's episode, we are going to continue the discussion that we started last week on traits of successful entrepreneurs. What is it that separates the best from the rest? What is it that makes the 1% income earners the 1%? And I'm here to tell you right now that these are absolutely traits that anyone can possess, anyone can learn, anyone can develop. It's just important that we talk about these things. And as we talk about them and we give a lot of examples, what I was talking to Tara about is I think the coolest thing about doing a series like this is not just sharing what the traits are, but it kind of allows you to get inside my brain a little bit and allows me to share stories and experiences and examples of what we're talking about, because that's what it's all about. The more we can help you think and act like a millionaire, the rest is just going to follow. And once again, it's not just about being a millionaire, bling, bling. And the truth is, being a millionaire these days isn't even that big a deal. Like, your minimum goal should be to be a millionaire, right? But if we can get you to think and act as the most successful people do, then the results will naturally follow. So if you haven't yet had a chance to listen to last week's episode, I recommend you start there first. That's episode 72, and then continue on with this episode, episode 73. So just a quick recap, we are discussing 26 traits of successful entrepreneurs. And not only that, these are in alphabetical order. There is one for every letter of the alphabet. So in our last episode, we covered A, B, C, D, easy as 1, 2, 3, ba, 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 ba. And so today we will continue starting with E and see how far we get. Success trait number 5, E, is execution. I have said this before, and I will say it until the day that I am called back to my heavenly home. Ideas are a dime a dozen. Execution is everything. It is not hard to come up with an idea that can be incredibly successful. I could literally rattle off 100 just right now in this one episode alone. I will give them to you. Like, it is not hard to come up with an idea. Figure out something that you're passionate about, something that you're good at, do some research on it, see what other people are doing, put your spin on it. And then it's really all about executing. Like, I don't mind sharing all the ideas that I have, because the truth is you got to execute, and everyone's going to execute in their own way. Execution is king. Execution is everything. But so many people do not execute. They talk, and never really do anything. When you execute, when you take action, then you get a result from that action you took, and you get information, and then you can adjust and adapt as you go. But it all starts with execution. And that leads right into our next one, which is flexibility. As an entrepreneur, you want to be incredibly flexible. When you execute, when you take action, you're going to get information. And that information is going to help you know what to do next. So you want to have a plan, but you want to be able to adapt to that plan quickly. The truth is, very little is ever going to go how you plan in business or in life. And if you're not flexible, you're going to get in your head, you're going to get frustrated, you're going to give up. You're never really going to get anywhere. I cannot tell you how many times on a daily basis that I need to be incredibly flexible with what I'm doing. I literally just got off a phone call where I had to be super flexible. There are people that I am currently working with and or have been trying to or wanting to work with for a long time, and plans that I put in place, and things don't always go exactly how you plan or hope. The key is that ultimately you know where you're going, and you're constantly pivoting and adapting. If you want to get to a certain destination and you're in an airplane, you're constantly adapting slightly, this degree or that degree. But as long as you know where you want to go and then you constantly adapt the way to get there, then you're still going to reach your destination. But you have got to be flexible. You've got to know upfront that you will never reach 100% of your goals exactly the way you want to all the time. The most successful people I know are very aware of this, and they're very okay with this. If you have that expectation from the beginning, if you know that things aren't always going to go how you hope they would go, and you're okay with that, then life is going to be good. Recently, we started watching Mr. Beast with our kids occasionally on the big screen TV in the living room. which has been a lot of fun. And we were watching this episode of these people that stayed in this room together for like 100 days. And occasionally Mr. Beast and his team would come in and they would bribe them with different things that would help that stay be more enjoyable. And one of the times there was this mystery box and they chose not to get the mystery box. Now, I'm kind of butchering it. Go watch the episode if you want to see exactly what happened. But it was so interesting because in the mystery box, like if they would have taken the mystery box, they would have gotten brand new Teslas. And they chose not to take it, and they didn't get the Teslas. And the girl on this episode of Mr. Beast was so frustrated, literally for days. She was just like, I cannot believe that I made such a big mistake, that I did something so wrong, and I didn't get the Tesla. She was in such misery. And the guy, you could tell he was just like, yeah, whatever. I'm happy with my Prius. But what was happening is the guy never had the expectation of having the Tesla. He was flexible. He was like, whatever. And he was a lot happier in that situation, as to where this girl was causing all kinds of misery for herself from a car or something that she never even had to start with. But she was so frustrated that she didn't have it. I mean, the truth is there is so much opportunity out there. There is so much that we don't currently have that we could have if we had a crystal ball. Or we can have if we just take action, right? But that's kind of what we're talking about here. But the key is being flexible to change. The key is being flexible to things not always working out perfectly. The key is being flexible to things that are presented to you in your life and adapting as you go. I always say have a plan and adapt to that plan. You want to be flexible. You want to be adaptable. It will make your life as an entrepreneur so much better. Don't beat yourself up. The faster you can adapt and change, the better. Not long ago, we had Bill Allen on, and he was talking about the OODA loop and HTP. Hypothesize, test, pivot. The faster you can have a hypothesis, the faster you can have an idea. You test it out, you try it out, and then you pivot accordingly. The faster you can do that, the better off you're going to be. So you want to be incredibly flexible as an entrepreneur.
TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
Number 7 is a little outside of the box. G stands for generous. Most successful entrepreneurs I know are incredibly generous. Now, we all know people who are not generous, who do make a lot of money. I don't see those people as being incredibly happy or all that happy. And so to me, they're not successful. Now, when I say generous, I'm not just talking about take all your money and give it all away. I think being generous means a lot more than that. It means giving people the benefit of the doubt, doing service, be generous with your time. Why are you doing what you're doing? Is it just purely to make money? Or is it so you can give back to others in so many ways? Now, I'm a big fan of charity, but even more so, I believe that as entrepreneurs, the biggest thing we can do is start businesses, start successful businesses, and give people opportunities, give people jobs, give them partnership opportunities, teach them something. And whether it's your customers or clients or people you work with that you are generous with, that you always give more than you ever ask, or your employees or your partners, I promise you that is going to come back tenfold. And it may not come back directly through money, although it most likely will. It's going to come back in the way you feel, the way your life is. You're going to be much happier. And ultimately, it's going to be what you want out of life. So don't forget that in this pursuit of making money, the importance of generosity and being generous with your time, with your talents, but also, and maybe most importantly, be generous to yourself. Love yourself, be kind to yourself, be forgiving to yourself, and also be generous to your family and those around you. Be generous with your time. That's why we're doing this, right? So we can have that time to spend with those people, those relationships that mean the most to us. And once you do make a significant amount of money, be generous in sharing that with others. And once again, that might be through hiring other people, through continuing to grow and build. And it might also be through charitable contributions, whether it's people that you know or people that you don't know. It really is what it's all about. And it gives a huge sense of joy and fulfillment, unlike anything else can. Number 8 is habits. All successful entrepreneurs have created incredible habits. There's a lot of hype and rah-rah out there, and I'm not trying to say that there isn't something to be said about motivation. We all need to be motivated, getting excited, getting pumped, getting juiced, getting jacked. All that is really important. But I know so many people who get all rah-rah and hyped up and excited and, yeah, I'm going to do all this stuff. It's going to be amazing. And then they just kind of like flounder. Success in business or anything in life is all about consistent and persistent actions over a long period of time. That's what will get you there. Like I have a habit of I wake up, I do certain things, and like I get going every day. Especially as I was building businesses and trying to create wealth. Like it's just what I did. Like every day I just put in the time. Whatever the next most important thing to do was, that's what I did. And if I wasn't sure what that was, I figured it out and I did it. Similar habits are what helped me get a football scholarship and achieve other things in life. As we often talk about, we currently have 3 teenagers, one of them who recently became an adult. And he's currently trying to develop the habits of work ethic. It's a habit that he has to a degree, but he's got to be able to continue to develop that to a point where he can put in the 40, 50 hours a week if needed. Once again, I'm not talking about working your guts out or the major hustle or never spending time with anyone or seeing anyone or having relationships. No, I'm just talking about having the habits that it takes. The habits that it takes to focus on certain tasks and not constantly be drifting off to social media or YouTube or video games. If you have a clear goal, a clear objective, a vision of where you want to go, and you're willing to put in the work to learning different things that it's going to take to get there, and then you take action, you execute, and then you pivot as you go, and you stay focused and you don't get distracted. You create those habits, you will find success, or success will find you. You will get there. It's inevitable, but you've got to stay consistent. People who fall off the bandwagon consistently and never get back on, or fall off more than they get on, they never succeed, whether it's business, whether it's fitness, or anything. You've got to create those habits. Successful entrepreneurs have great habits. Not perfect, but they have great habits. And if they fall off the bandwagon for a little bit, they get right back on and they keep going. Habits are huge in determining the success you'll have as a business owner. The last success trait that we're going to cover today is also a little unique, but every successful entrepreneur that I know is impatiently patient. Now, that might sound like an oxymoron, but let me explain what I mean by that. You've got to do things, you've got to believe, you've got to take action as if this thing is going to happen relatively quickly. You've probably heard the saying, shoot for the stars and maybe you'll hit the moon. The truth is, if you hit the moon, that's fantastic. Now, you want to have your BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goal. You want to try to accomplish things and you want to give yourself big goals with tight deadlines. Because what that does is that causes us to try to figure out how to make that work. Your brain is constantly trying to solve whatever it is that you put in front of it. So trying to accomplish big goals with tight deadlines will allow you to stretch your imagination. But also you got to realize that things in life very rarely happen exactly as planned. So you've got to be patient with yourself. We've mentioned this before, but most people overestimate what they can do in a year and they underestimate what they can do in 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years. You've got to be patient. But by patient, I don't mean sit around and not take action and not do anything. I mean just the opposite. That's why we say impatiently patient. You've got to get out there and you've got to make it happen. You've got to take that action. You've got to believe what's possible. You've got to help other people catch that vision. You've got to learn the things. You got to do the things. You got to adjust and pivot. If something's not working, try something else. Don't let people on your team just be hanging out and farting around and not making things happen. But at the same time, you've got to know that not everything is going to go according to plan. Things won't happen exactly the way you want. And you've got to be patient with that. And know that if you give it time, you have the right habits, you're executing on the right things, you're believing, you're aware of what's possible. With time, things will start to click and they'll start to fall into place. All right, well, that's what we got for today. In a couple days, we are going to be heading to the Florida Keys. After that, we'll be in Fort Lauderdale for a few days and then heading to Puerto Rico before we head off to Europe for 3 months. We met up with people on our last leg, and I'd love to meet up with some people on this next leg. So if you happen to be in any of those areas, hit me up and maybe we'll meet you on our next leg around the world. In our next episode, we will be bringing on the one and only Eric Fisher.
Oh, yes, y'all. I love it.
Eric is going to be joining us as one of our millionaire mentors. He actually just finished a 3-part series with his good friend, Jeff. I just listened to it today. I'm super excited for you to hear it. I'm super excited to have Eric aboard. As we continue to grow the movement of Millionaire University, as we continue to add resources, people to help coach you, work with you, and help you reach your goals and dreams in your business and in your life. So stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed this episode, please share with a friend. If you have yet to get our free business course, you can go to millionaireuniversity.com/training. Keep taking action in your business. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. You got this. And we will talk to you next time on the Millionaire University Podcast. Until next time, class dismissed.